today. Appreciate everybody's patience. And yeah, just use the raise your hand function if you can. We'll go down and call on everybody. And we'll start with JC Abbott. JC, go ahead.
Hello, JC Abbott with 3 Down Nation. Chase, they say that rookies in the NFL have a welcome to the NFL moment. Obviously, you've been very successful throughout training camp and in your first 2 performances. Have you had one of those moments, and what was it?
Is that like a bad thing or like a good thing when they say welcome to the NFL? Like a good moment?
Like a moment where you realize you're not in college anymore, whether that be, you realize the level of competition's just a little bit higher, perhaps that's a bad moment, or a good moment when you realize you can compete.
Yeah, I would say the good moment just for the first catch in New York. Able to make the same plays that you made in college and then bring that over to the NFL. I think it's reassuring because the transition's a little easier once you can do that.
All right, we'll move on to Farhan Lalji. Farhan, go ahead.
Chase, good to talk to you again. I've been asked a lot, just as somebody who watched you play here in British Columbia, just about whether or not there was a surprise that you've been able to do this. And from my perspective, I've always felt like the jump from a place like Abbotsford or any small school in Canada to playing at Notre Dame might have been a bigger jump, whereas people in a place like Notre Dame generally have a bit more pedigree and come prepared when they get to the NFL. From your perspective, what was the bigger adjustment, high school to Notre Dame or Notre Dame to the NFL?
Definitely high school at Notre Dame. That first year as a freshman in college, I wasn't really, if I were to go in a couple plays and make some plays, that'd be cool. But as a freshman, I wasn't ready to fully start, I think, personally. And now I think I'm ready to, fully start. I'm very comfortable with the playbook and making plays. So it's just that comfortability and that confidence that I have now as opposed to when I was a freshman.
All right, let's go to Shannon Coulter. Shannon, go ahead.
Hi, Chase. Now that we're into a few weeks of your professional career, what would you consider is the biggest change you've made to your game during this transition from college ball to the NFL?
I think kind of paying more attention to the protection and like the quarterback drop and whether it's like an RPO or like max protect or if the tight end's in. So like more paying attention to what other people are doing in terms of maybe not other receivers, but maybe like the running back, quarterback, lineman, because it affects how I run routes and like the timing and stuff like that.
All right, let's go to Liam Fox. Liam, go ahead.
Hey, Chase. This is Liam with Complex Canada. First off, congrats on, such a great start. A lot of people have said this is one of the toughest, if not the toughest year to be entering the NFL, given all the circumstances. How did you find learning the offense while being isolated from the team for most of this summer, and what did you do to get ready?
Yeah, so I like looking, obviously, at the plays and then being able to walk through them, and that's something we would have been able to do at camp. But since that wasn't the case, we virtually installed each day. So day one, we'd install day one. And then I would just go out with my trainer and walk through that and kind of understand why we're doing certain things. And then I would do that for the next however many installs. So that really helped me get in the playbook. And then if I had any questions, I was able to ask the receivers and they'd answer right away.
All right, let's go to Ben Lipka with the Abbotsford News. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Chase, nice to see you again. Just wondering, can you talk about how did the Mapletron nickname originate, and what was your first reaction to it, and how do you like it now?
Yeah, so the Mapletron thing came up after the Combine when I ran the time, and then my measurables were similar to Megatron's. And then there was a poll on Twitter. I think it was after I got drafted. They wanted like a nickname for me, so there was a poll that Steelers posted, and there was like Air Canada, Mapletron, and like the Maple Bandit or something crazy like that. But the fans voted on Mapletron, so I guess that was just like a fan favorite name out of those three. And I thought it was pretty clever. but when I ran it through my teammates, they thought it was kind of funny. So I don't really want to pigeonhole myself into the nickname Mapletron, but I released some merch for the fans to have because they like that name. But maybe I'll kind of develop my own unique nickname.
All right, let's go back to Farhan. Farhan, go ahead.
Chase, just following that up, I mean, do you have a sense of just how big you and your performances in these first two games, how much that's resonated in Canada?
Yeah, I see some stuff on social media, but, I feel like until I go home and see some of the kids or some of the people there, it won't fully sink in. I look forward to going back to Canada and working out with some of the local high school kids and stuff like that. So maybe when I do that, I'll be able to kind of see that impact that I have back home. But until then, it's all really just social media. But I've gotten really good, I guess, reviews and comments and messages from people. So.
All right. Dan, Ralph, would you go right ahead?
Chase, I wanted to ask you, what is the biggest difference in your life now? I mean, when you're a student athlete, you have football and you have school. Now being a professional athlete, what's the biggest adjustment you've found in your life?
Yeah, I think I'm just much more responsible and I would say accountable. Back in high school, I would always, my mom would wake me up for class and stuff. I'd always sleep through an alarm. And I know it's a little thing, but I'm always kind of on top of things. And I set a schedule out myself, and going to Notre Dame, going far away from home allowed me to become independent. So I think just the responsibility, taking things pretty seriously and then sticking to those things, it's developed over the last few years.
All right, let's go to JC. Go ahead. You can ask a follow-up.
Chase, you tweeted out, I don't know whether it was before or after your first game, that this season you wrote the name of Samuel Uko, a former high school teammate of yours who tragically passed away after being turned away from a hospital during a mental health crisis this summer, on your wrist tape. What does it mean to you to honor him in that way, and what was your relationship like?
Yeah, so I grew up, we played for the same community football team, and then we played, obviously, we went to the same middle school, same high school. He was a year younger than me, or 2 years younger than me. And so we played together in high school, and, with that, our relationship came closer. I got closer and closer. And he was, I tweeted out, one of the best players I've ever seen play. So we were just super close. We trained together. We would hang out together. We'd work together. We had a job that we did together. So we got really close my last couple of years there, especially because we were on the same team for the first time. So, when I heard about that, it was a tough situation because I wasn't able to go home and go to his funeral just because with everything going on. So I just wanted a way to kind of dedicate the season to him. I'm trying to get his name on the back of my helmet, so I got to talk to NFL with that. But, yeah.
Excellent.
All right, we'll go back to Shannon. Go ahead.
Hi, Chase. Shannon with Sportsnet here. I know that back at Notre Dame, you were known as a great practice player. So heading into week 3 of the NFL, what are you looking to improve upon with your game during practice this week?
Yeah, I think just showing consistency. The fast start was great, but you want to kind of keep that throughout the season. I think if I could do that, then I can do some really big things for the team. So just consistency, making sure you know all the plays and you know where to be and when to be there.
All right, let's move on. We'll go back to Dan Ralph. Dan, go ahead.
Chase, I'm wondering if it's hard for you to stay patient. And by that, I mean you've been used to playing most of your football career, and this time they're easing you into the offense slowly. Is that an adjustment for you, and is patience a virtue for you, or are you a patient person by nature?
Yeah, I think it's similar to my freshman year in college, only I'm a lot more prepared and ready to go in whenever. So that's why I'm not really, obviously I would love to start this game, but they're giving me a good amount of looks, and it is a super long season. We still have 14 games left and then playoffs. So I'm honestly in no rush to get in there. Once they feel that it's right for me to get in there, then they'll put me in there. But they have a lot of personnel packages that they're utilizing to keep me on my feet wet. So I'm in no rush. I'm not going to be frustrated or anything by the lack of playing time or the thought of me playing more. So I'm good where I'm at.
All right, Farhan, we'll go back to you.
Chase, really since early in the process, some of the bigger names in the Steelers, whether it's Juju, Ben, even Coach Tomlin, they've seemed to express a lot of faith in you and just your work ethic, your ability, all of those things. What's that meant to you and your confidence as you kind of grow into this?
Yeah, I think it's everything. It plays a really big part in my confidence. They've been really good to me throughout this process. Even when I got in early, they've been really helpful with answering any questions that I have, or, if I do something wrong, they'll go right up to me and tell me. And, they get excited for me when I do things well. So I think it's super important that you have, the respect of your peers. And I'm still trying to gain more respect. There's always respect to be gained. So I think it's a good start for sure.
All right, we'll go back to Liam. Liam, go ahead.
At 2-0 so far, and with Ben being back healthy this year, I know there are some serious playoff expectations from the outside for a franchise that's accustomed to having a lot of success. What's the overall vibe within the building, among the team?
Yeah, we take a week-by-week approach for sure. So we're not even talking about the playoffs because before we get to the playoffs, we have to beat teams. So we have to beat Texans. We have to focus on them. And then we just take it week by week. But at the start of the season, Coach Tomlin laid down his expectations, and we're going for a world championship. So he set the bar.
All right, let's go back to Shannon. Shannon, go ahead.
Chase, with your touchdown reception that you made last game, you already set a Canadian NFL record. How does it feel to make such an impact on the record books so early into your rookie year?
Yeah, I'm not that's not something I'm like super focused on, like record books right now. It's going to be definitely very cool at the end of the year or end of my career to look back at those things. But it is cool that I can do something like that pretty early. But just kind of focusing on the little things before I focus on the records.
All right, John, we've got you now. Go right ahead.
Great. Can you hear me?
We can, sir. We got you.
Excellent. Great. Hey, Chase. Good to talk to you again. One thing Ben Roethlisberger said this week was that, and he's been saying it all along, is that you make a mistake, you understand what it is that needs to be corrected, and then you don't make it again. I was wondering if you could maybe give us an example or two of that.
Yeah, it's just there's just like the way, like the placement of the ball in certain routes. Sometimes I was used to looking later, and then he wants me to look sooner because it's just like when things open up for him. So just little things like how he throws the ball, when he throws the ball, and then that affects me just when I look, when I'm supposed to sit in zone or keep going in man. So it's just little things.
We'll stay with you, John, if you want.
Okay, great, sure. I don't know if you're asked this, sorry for coming on late, but I imagine your inbox and your phone after these two games has just been blowing up from family, friends, and probably people you never heard of. Is that true?
Yeah, it's good though to see the support from so many people. I don't really mind if it's someone I've never met and they just reach out and say congratulations. I appreciate that. It definitely is hard to respond to everyone, but I do see the messages and I do appreciate it. And then just try to get back to family and the close friends. And if I have an off day or something, I'll go through the messages.
John, do you have anything else?
Sure.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest part about learning the pro game? A lot of quarterbacks, receivers will talk about how the speed of the game is sometimes hard to get used to because, of course, you've got so many better players playing against you. What have you found to be the most difficult on-field transition?
Yeah, I would just say knowing what everyone has on the field. There's programs in college and high school where you can just know what you have. But with this offense, you can be exchanged with any position on the field. So I think it's just knowing exactly what everyone has and then being ready to execute that moment if your number's called.
All right, I think we've got time for a couple more. We'll go back to Dan Ralph.
Chase, I'm wondering what your thoughts are about this this life that you're in. Is it surreal for you to wake up every morning knowing that you're a professional football player with the Pittsburgh Steelers and that this is your life now?
Yeah, it's definitely very cool. You know, there's moments in the day where I just look around and I enjoy it because I see, you know, I hear about some of the things that people are going through, and then it makes me more grateful for what I'm doing. So it's a very cool experience that I'm trying to take in and enjoy, you know, every day. So I am definitely very grateful.
All right, let's go back to Ben with the Abbotsford News. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Chase, one thing I've noticed a little bit is you getting some time getting to chase guys down on special teams. Just wondering, how do you like that role, and is that going to be a regular role for you moving forward?
Yeah, I think, you know, you have to contribute any way you can, and as a rookie, you're expected to contribute on special teams, just like I was contributing special teams in college. So I think it's a really good opportunity for me to make some plays when I'm not on offense and kind of get my name out there even further. And, you know, my goal through that is to make the Pro Bowl through special teams. Obviously, hopefully through offense, but special teams would be nice.
All right, we'll go back to Shannon one last time. Hold on 1 second.
Oops, sorry, my mic was off for a moment.
Yep, you're
Chase,
good. We got you now. Yep.
Chase, I wanted to focus in on your first catch in the NFL for a moment. Your former teammate, Ian Book, said you have this ability to make 50-50 balls look like 90-10 balls. What is it about your game that allows you to make these types of catches so effortlessly?
Yeah, I would say just being in that situation for, you know, a pretty long time. That was like my number one route in high school, was like a go ball. So I got a lot of exposure then. And then college, we worked on it every day. And then, you know, at some point it just becomes natural, and, you know, you just got to go make a play on the ball. But I think it's just being exposed to that type of route for so long, and, you know, just working on it every day I get the chance to. So.
All right, we got one person I don't think I have called on, and my apologies if I've missed you. Karen, would you like to ask a question? All right, anybody else? If anybody wants the last one, just use the raise your hand function. Otherwise, all right, we got one more here. Go back to you, John. Go ahead.
Great. You might have been asked this already, but the Mapletron nickname, looks like you're embracing it. Have you ever spoken with Megatron, or has he reached out to you since this kind of started getting some buzz last week?
Not that I believe. You know, I'm just a rookie, so I have to make a name for myself before that happens. But we'll see. You know, that's a fan-given nickname, so we'll see if I ride with it. I think I'm going to try and be more passive, if that, or more neutral on that, and then see what nickname comes my way maybe later in my career. But we'll stick with Mapletron for now, but I'll be more neutral in that sense.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Farhan. Farhan, go ahead.
Just last thing I know, when you came in, there was a lot of expectation that you'd be very involved in the red zone offense for this team, which was an area of need following last year. Are you surprised you haven't been used more there? Shannon mentioned those 50-50 jump ball type of situations. Did you think you get more looks there, and might that be what we see down the road?
Yeah, I think, you know, we're always working on that red zone package and me going in there. So I'm ready to go in there whenever I need to. And, you know, thankfully there wasn't a situation where we were in the red zone, we didn't capitalize, and I was frustrated with that. That hasn't happened yet. So as long as we keep doing our thing in the red zone, then I'm fine with it.
All right, thanks everybody for your time. Just so you guys know, the same email list that we communicated the last couple days, we'll get you a box out link to today's video and audio so you have clean feeds of that. But we appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you.